Well, hi there. Now, when you do general polynomial multiplication, that's like multiplying a polynomial by a polynomial. Like here, I'm going to take x plus 2y, and I'm going to multiply it by this trinomial. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you all the steps here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the x term here, and I'm going to multiply it by each one of these three terms. So I'm going to multiply it by each one of those three terms. And then after I do the x term, then I'll do the 2y term, and I'll multiply it by each one. Okay, so let me show you what I did. So remember, I'm multiplying the x term here. So I took the x term times 3x squared, and then I take the x term times minus 4xy, which is right there, and then the x term times the 7y squared. Okay, then I move over to the 2y term. So I'm going to multiply the 2y term times the 3x squared. I multiply the 2y terms times minus 4xy, and then the 2y term times 7y squared. Now the next step is just to multiply all these together, which you can do. X times 3x squared is 3x cubed. X times minus 4xy is minus 4x squared y. X times 7y squared is 7xy squared. 2y times 3x squared is 6x squared y. And then 2y times minus 4xy is minus 8xy squared, which is that right? Nope, that's wrong. So I have to fix that. So just bear with me just a second. Okay, so sometimes I proof these as I go along. So anyway, 2y times minus 4xy is minus 8xy squared, and then 2y times 7y squared is 14y cubed. Now, if you just bring down the 3x cubed, because there's no other x cubed terms here, and then if you'll notice here, you actually have a minus 4x squared y here, and we have a plus 6x squared y there. So we can combine those. Minus 4 plus 6 would give me plus 2x squared y. And then here I have a 7xy squared minus an 8xy squared, and that should be minus 1. So I got it right, except the 2 should be here. So it should be minus xy squared there. Okay, and then just bring down the 14y cubed. All right, now let's take a look at the other one. Okay, so here I'm going to have a trinomial multiplied by a binomial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 3x squared and multiply it by the 2x, and then multiply it by the minus 3. So here I have 3x squared times 2x, and then I have 3x squared times minus 3. Then I'll move over to the 4x, and I'll do the same thing. So I'll have 4x times 2x plus 4x times minus 3. And then finally do the same thing here with the negative 6. So I have negative 6 times 2x plus negative 6 times negative 3. Now, perform those multiplications, and you get 6x cubed here. 3x squared times minus 3 is minus 9x squared. 4x times 2x is 8x squared. 4x times minus 3 is minus 12x. And minus 6 times 2x is minus 12x. And minus 6 times minus 3 is 18. Now collect like terms. The 6x cubed, you just bring it down, and you have 9x squared minus 9x squared plus 8x squared, so that's going to give me minus x squared. And then you have minus 12x minus 12x, which gives us minus 24x, and then bring the 18 down. Remember, you can only combine like terms. Now, this next example is actually going to lead us into the FOIL method that we'll use for multiplying two binomials together. But let me just show you here. We have 3x plus 2y times 2x minus 5y. Well, if we do it the same way I did these, I would take the 3x times the 2x, which I did here, then the 3x times the minus 5y, which I did there. And then I'll move to the 2y and I'll multiply it by both terms. So take the 2y times the 2x here, and then take the 2y times the minus 5y here. Now, if you'll notice here, what I did is I multiplied the first term from the first binomial by the first term with the second binomial, 3x times 2x. And then notice the outermost terms are 3x and negative 5y. Notice I multiplied those next. And then the innermost terms are 2y and 2x. Notice I multiplied those next. And then the 2y and the minus 5y are the lastmost terms in each binomial, so I multiplied those next. And you'll see in the next section that's first, outer, inner, last, and that's where FOIL comes from. Now, of course, we're not doing the FOIL method here. We're just doing the general multiplication. So let's finish it. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times minus 5y is minus 15xy. 2y times 2x is 4xy. And 2y times minus 5y is minus 10y squared. And then I only have a couple of like terms here that I can combine. I have minus 15xy plus 4xy, which gives me minus 11xy. And of course I bring down the 6x squared and the minus 10y squared. And so that's how we do a general polynomial multiplication. And I'll move on to that shortcut that I was talking about in the next section that's called the FOIL method.